Hey, good morning. Try to get there we go, get the camera angle right. Some hotel coffee. I'm at the Marriott in Mesa, Cafe Valet Rainforest Blend. I finally made it. I waited 2 years to get back to spring training and wait another 2.5 hours. So my flight was scheduled to take off at 7:06 yesterday morning, and I think we got off the ground about 9:45. It was about a little over 2.5 hour delay because a toilet wouldn't flush. Now, I was like, let's just get in the air. Let's not worry about a flushable toilet. If somebody happens to have to, you know, flush the toilet for, not a mellow yellow situation, I didn't mind because I was up way up front. The bathroom was way in the back. So maybe maybe by the time we landed, it would have been an issue. But 2.5 hours, I upgraded for the first time ever. I flew first class. My world has changed. My flying world has changed. And on like domestic flights, like you see if you ever taken an international flight, man, the first class on an international flight, it just looks like they look like big cushier seats. But let me tell you, it is a game changer, especially since I had to sit there for 2.5 hours before we even took off, and then another 3 hours. But the flight was smooth, had a little turbulence, but it was all good. I watched a movie. I downloaded some movies from Amazon Prime. So I watched I Want You Back with Charlie Day. Funny movie. I enjoyed it. And I downloaded stand-up comedy routine from George Carlin, which ironically, the very first set was about airport security, which, by the way, I tweeted this out yesterday. I had 24 baseballs in my carry-on backpack, which probably like, why is March? But my connection is unstable, by the way. I'm using like the free Wi-Fi. I may have to bump up my Wi-Fi connection, so bear with me. Although it's probably not any different than my normal Wi-Fi at home. So when I got here to Mesa and I got out to camp, and my buddy Rich, who's an awesome photographer, Tops bought a couple of his Christian Hernandez images. He also has one of his images on a Onyx Jordan Wicks card. So I'm talking to him, and I pull out because I wanted to take some video at spring training at the complex on the backfields. And what I pulled out, I think I realized why they set my bag aside to do a search. Because it was this. Yes, this thing. So this is how I take video. So I think this may have been the culprit of why my bag was set aside for security. Now, they just had to go through it and check everything out. So, but I'm pretty sure that may have raised a red flag as it went through the X-ray machine. So speaking of the Wi-Fi stream, and I think that may have been the culprit. Some people are saying there's two streams up. So when I first set up the stream this morning, it was saying there was like an error to set up, and I kept hitting try again, and it just wasn't working. So I just had to finish and create a new one. So that's why there may be a second stream appearing. And I think that's probably because the Wi-Fi, I've got the low end Wi-Fi, and it did say like, this is good for browsing the internet. And then it said, but for $4.95 or whatever, you can upgrade, and this is good for streaming. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to be watching movies on my laptop, failing to remember that I'm going to be live streaming a few days, at least to you. There's my connection unstable message. Victor, good morning to you. Brian, hello. Let's play 2 streams today, maybe not. What's up, Zach, Herman? So all is good. Sitting in the dentist chair. Oh, man. Herman, I will say that flying is way better than sitting in a dentist chair. I'm not a big flying fan, but I'm certainly not a big dentist fan. So you have nothing to worry about. Flying is better than sitting at the dentist, even for just a cleaning, because I just I hate being strapped. I mean, it feels like you're strapped down, and people are like tearing your mouth apart and putting their fingers in your teeth. Ugh, I hate the dentist. Not personally, but professionally, I hate the dentist. So it was actually everything went really smooth outside of the 2.5 hour delay. Now, getting to the airport, somebody asked, and actually it was just a random tweet I saw as I was sitting on the plane. Somebody asked, "Is there anything different?" They hadn't flown since pre-COVID, which I had not either. The only difference is you have to wear a mask everywhere, which again I failed to remember. So I get all the way from the parking garage, which fortunately the Madison airport is fairly small. So I get it's like a 3-minute walk from my car to the front door of the airport. So not bad at all. But that's when I realized as I got to the front door, I don't have a mask with me. But I fortunately I have a few in the car. So I had to wait in the you know to board. Um, and that really and sitting way up front, I didn't have to worry about my biggest annoyance with flying, and that's the deplaning process. When people are like, after a couple hours. Now, this was a little different because we sat for 2.5 hours and then we sat again for on the actual flight for 3 hours. It's a little different, but normally two-hour flight. Sometimes on the puddle jumpers and hour flight, people are like getting out of their seat and standing up in the aisle. It's like, come on, you can't sit. Oh, the boarding process is another of my pet peeves with flying because there's everybody wants to like get in line, and there's how many groups are there? You got the first groups that get first priority, and then you've got like the Johns who have, I'm sure John has like are there. You got the first groups that get first priority, and then you've got like the Johns who have, I'm sure John has like the platinum, gold, whatever it is, business class, preferred treatment because they fly all the time. And then you've got your group one, group two, group three, and so on. So, and all of these people want to get in line. So it's just like a, what do you call it, cattle call or whatever. You just got all these people want to get in line. And so it's just like a, what do you call it, a cattle call or whatever. You just got all these people. And it's like, when they call group one, I don't give a crap if there's a line for group one because all of these other people are standing around. I'm in group one, so I'm going through. So outside of that, there was no other issues. The flight was great. We landed. It was a little rough going in, but it was okay. Got to my baggage, and then I did have trouble finding. Not trouble, but it was kind of difficult to find where my car. I rented through Turo, which is an awesome app. We'll see. Hopefully it all turns out well. But the process of renting the car and picking it up and all of that was super smooth. And it's way cheaper than renting a car through, Enterprise, Costco. Because usually I go through Costco because that's the cheapest. Well, to rent, here's the difference. So for Costco, when I looked these prices up several weeks ago, like I could rent basically like a Ford Focus, and it was like $120 a day. It's like, Jesus. Through Turo, I rented a BMW for $60 a day, half for a Beamer. And it's a fun car. It's like, man, I could really get used to this. I've driven an SUV for 20 years. It's like, man, I could really drive a slick car like this. But then I thought, where the hell do you put all the baseball cards? So I'll stick with my Ford Edge. So pick that up, smooth. And then I got a little, how we tend to be with directions. And it's like, I don't need a map. I don't need GPS. I've been here before. I got a little cocky and thought I could get out of there without any direction, and I failed. So I had to turn the GPS on. It's like, oh, make a U-turn because you're going the exact wrong way. you're going west and you should be going east. Whoops. So turned around, and it was actually from the airport to Mesa to the Sloan Park complex. It was only like 10 minutes. So it was a really easy drive to get there. I arrived, pulled into Sloan Park. I do have a video I'm gonna put just with some random shots. I took some video as I walked into the complex. It didn't turn out the way I wanted. You'll have that. Better luck next time. Try it on day 2. But I'll put that at the end of practice. I missed the pitchers, but the fielders were still out there practicing. So I was to get some autographs. My favorite was can you see this? Ed Howard. And I know Dan knows where Ed Howard went to school. So I got an Ed Howard. He has a sweet signature. He's a young kid. He's what, 19 or 20? Because he was drafted out of high school, out of Chicago, the Caravan, Mount Carmel. So I asked him, I'm like, how's Mount Carmel looking this spring? But he's super nice kid. Like, I mean, he was very engaging. So he was happy to talk about Mount Carmel. He's like, yeah, I just don't get the chance to follow him much, being out here. And so that was cool. I was able to get 6 autographs. I got Ed Howard, Luis Verdugo, who will be in Bowman in 2022 Bowman. That's releasing next month. So he's got a first Bowman coming out. So I was able to get him on a baseball. Ezekiel Pagan, who has a Bowman card from, I think, 2018 or 19. Caleb Knight, who's, I think he's a catcher. Let's see. Felix Stevens, who is a monster of a man. He is freaking huge. Super nice guy. And then the 6th autographed baseball was Bradley Beasley. So, and he he might have a Bowman card. If he does, I didn't bring any with me, but he has some like elite extra edition cards, I do know. So we wrapped up that. So after that, me and Crawley went to a place called Twin Peaks, which is cold beer, and that's like their thing, like coldest beer. 29 degrees, and they actually have a sign at the gate. Crawley took all kinds of pictures, and I like forget to take pictures. So 29 degrees was the temperature of the beer. So that went down really smooth. The temperature was actually it was like in the 70s in Wisconsin on Monday, and I was, wearing jeans and like a light long sleeve shirt. It's like, ooh, kind of warm. And I didn't think to dress like I was kind of dressing for Wisconsin when I went to the airport, like jeans and in a light long sleeve shirt, felt comfortable. And then it's like, wait, I'm going to be wearing this the rest of the day in Arizona. But fortunately, it was about the same. It was in the low 70s, which is very comfortable. But in the sun, it was warm. So it's shorts from here on out, because Saturday is going to be like 95. But I'll be in Phoenix at the big card show, 400 tables in Phoenix Saturday, this weekend, 3-day show, I think. So had a fat burger. So I was a little like my clock was off because I was still on Central Time. I had kind of a later breakfast because we were in the air when they served breakfast. So a very nice balanced continental breakfast. I enjoyed it. Thank you, American Airlines. So it was kind of a later lunch. So I didn't even have to eat dinner because I was full last night. Had a few Coors Lights, which is my prop for the camera this morning. So I dropped Crawley off at where he's staying at a buddy's house, and came back to the hotel, checked in. I had some custom cards that I don't want to show off yet. Hopefully today I can get some signed, and I'll do a show off on Twitter. And then if I go live tomorrow, I probably will go live again tomorrow because I don't have any plans for this evening at this point. So we'll see. So they were awesome. They knew they had it in their system, like he has mail, and they're like, oh, here's a package. And I'm like, well, there should be 2. And another guy came over. He's like, yep, right here. I'm like, oh, wow, that was super smooth, because I was kind of concerned about that. So I made 160 custom cards of like different prospects and some of the coaches. So looking forward to getting some of those signed. I'm going to go to the chat. Let's see. Dan's in bed. Herman falls asleep cleanings. Wow. See, I'm like that with haircuts. Like when they start, let's see, Dan's in bed. Herman falls asleep cleanings. Wow. See, I'm like that with haircuts. Like when they start cutting my hair, it's like, what's that? There's like letters for that. I can't, what's that? There's like letters for that. I can't remember, but in videos, like it like calms you and it's like puts you in this trance. That's what I do with haircuts. Dentist chair, I'm like on high alert. Like I'm super anxious during cleanings and any dental work. Wake and Break Sports Cards. Good morning to you, Rise and Shine. Ken, what's up? Okay, I'm going to watch some other videos. I guess I'll catch this on replay. Nothing like loading up dollar boxes in a Beamer. People would be like, wow, he must be selling a ton of 91 Fleer. All sweet spots, right? Then you have 36 balls left. So Ed Howard was the only sweet spot. And somebody mentioned, actually a couple people mentioned about the sweet spots because I tweeted out Ed Howard was the only sweet spot. And somebody mentioned, actually a couple people mentioned about the sweet spots because I tweeted out a photo of the baseballs that I had signed. And I think 5 of them signed a side panel, which I prefer sweet spot because I display them. Well, I display some of them. A lot of them are in tubs because I don't have display room for my collection. So I brought 48 balls. So I have 42 left to get signed. The balls that I had yesterday were Dick's Sporting Goods balls. Now I think they're genuine leather cover, so they're not like the super cheap balls, but they do have like the Dick's logo. It says official league. So I like those for, prospects, minor league guys. Like those for, prospects, minor league guys, non-prospect minor league guys, because I don't want to spend $15-$20, on, because I do volume, like, 40 in the dozen balls that or the 2 dozen that I bought for like $100. And that's about the price what I paid per ball on the Dick's Sporting Goods ball. So if I get them super cheap, I do prefer the official balls, but they're all for my own collection, so I don't really care. It's just, for my own PC. So what else? Yeah, so came back, got everything settled to bed. I went to bed at 7 p.m. local time, which was time. So up from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. So that's a long day. So so I had a few Coors Lights, drank a quart of water before I went to bed, so I'd be nice and hydrated. So I'm gonna finish putting my custom cards this morning into my pages. Today's itinerary. Let's see. Do you display them if they aren't sweet? Yeah, I display. And so I have 200. My ball wall has 260. Is it 260 or 240? 240 or 260 in the cases that are on my ball wall. So sometimes I'll flip them out. Some of the balls, they get faded, so I'll take those out. They're all in cases. They have, each name. At one point, I was putting like just their career stats if they were retired, when they played, their career stats if they were retired, when they played for the Cubs and all that. But then I got lazy and I haven't been doing that. So yes, I do display the ones that I have displayed, if they're sweet spot or even a side panel. So so today it's what is it, 7 a.m. local time, so I've still got a couple hours. About 8:30 I'll head out to the park. I'll have to park. I'll have to get a spot like outside of Sloan to park, and then I'll walk all the way down to the back fields, and I'll spend about 3 hours in the back fields till about noon. I'll head back over and tailgate with my Club 400 friends. A bunch of them got in. I think half of them are here, and then the other half are arriving either today, or some arrived last night, and then some are getting in, sprinkled in the next couple days. So meet up with them, Club 400 tailgate, then go into the game. I've got berm tickets, so sit on the lawn. for today's game against the Oakland A's. And then after the game, I'll probably just head back and take it easy this evening. And maybe if it's early enough, I might have a lot of fun. My local minor league team, the Lansing Lugnuts, is the A's farm team. I wish I was there today. And I don't do any of the other comp. Like, that was my plan when I came out here 2 years ago. I was going to do like a tour. Like, I was going to go do a Cubs game this day, go see the White Sox at their facility, the Angels. And I had it all mapped out. I was going to do different games. But I had so much fun just doing all Cubs. I mean, I'm a Cubs fanatic times 10. So watching the minor leagues, watching the prospects of the Cubs system, as opposed to just going and watching some random baseball games, because I'm, Cubs centric. So that's my plan. But it is cool. I've a friend of mine went to a bunch of different parks, and so that was cool. But like, my collection is only Cubs. So I'm not interested in other prospects, other teams getting. My connection, it's probably pretty weak on your end because it's showing weak on my end, and my connection unstable is showing. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Get started with my day. Thanks for tuning in. I'll put a short little recap video. It's maybe 2 minutes long, just kind of showing off the day, my day one out here in May. So I'll show that. I'll publish that here in a little bit before I leave. It depends on how late I decide to sleep in tomorrow. What I do tonight depends on how late I sleep in tomorrow morning. So thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll see you again, hopefully, tomorrow morning.